Phil Ivey, one of the greatest poker players of all time, a legend famously known for having a stare that strikes fear in opponents and an ability to make reads that leave them stunned. From huge bluffs to incredible hero calls, here are the top 10 most unbelievable reads of Phil Ivey's career. Starting our list off at number 10, Ivey faces off against Dan Jungleman Cates, another highly successful pro who is about to put Ivey in a tough spot. What will Ivey do? Let's watch and find out.
Three-way to the flop. King Jack 3, top 2 for Cates.
Check.
Low has a total bagolino, he checks.
Ivey could lose a lot of chips here.
He continues with top pair for 65,000.
Cates could smooth call this, or he could raise, knowing Ivey raised under the gun, and this is going to hit him a lot.
Looks like Cates is raising. Jungleman makes it 165,000, and it's time for Low to go. He folds.
Most folks ain't folding this to a single raise from an aggressive player. Ivey's spot is tougher than that math problem from Good Will Hunting.
Wow, Ivey folds!
Next up is a crazy cash game hand from the iconic TV show Poker After Dark. We pick up the action on Mercier, who decides to 3-bet squeeze from the small blind versus 3 players. Everyone folds except for Ivey, who is about to find himself in another tricky spot with a lot of money on the line.
Good flop for Phil. No ace, no king, no queen. If Jason didn't have it before, it's unlikely he has it now. Jason does have an inside straight draw, would make a straight with a 5. And he bets 28-7. Let's see what Phil does here. We know he's not going out.
Who was going to lose the $4 million?
No,
all of us.
No, he just offered. No one.
We offered $3 million.
You offered
Ivey raises 50,000. I don't see any way Jason's calling.
What's it knows?
He's all in. I don't see how Phil Ivey can call. If Jason had aces or kings, he'd play it the same way. Little glance at Jason. And he calls.
Once or twice.
What a call by Phil Ivey.
Maybe so. Want to run it twice? Or once?
I don't even want to do it once.
I could answer that question, Jason. You're going to have to catch your 5 or your ace.
Not to feel so bad. I mean, I see the king 10 and the king 3. Nice hand.
Welcome to the Ivey.
Ivey is not only one of the best at knowing when to apply maximum pressure, but he also makes his best reads when facing it, like in this hand at number 6.
Ivey popping things up on the button.
And then, deciding how he wants to respond. Decides call. And
Yeah, I think that's what the time bank was used for.
Really good flop here for Vogel and Ivey. So these guys definitely going to put some chips in, and Heath not going to be able to continue 3-ways. But now, with it just the button C-betting, he decides to continue. Got a decision here. Do you check raise, try to take it down? Little dicey, inflating the pot with 7 high, but I guess you're okay getting it in with Ivey. And he goes with call.
8 of hearts pairing on the turn. Potential lead spot for Vogelsang.
And it's on the pro side, too.
What's that?
He's a pro.
He's a pro.
Does opt to lead.
Yeah, I think Vogelsang wants to get draws out. He knows an 8's not folding, and 10 probably doesn't fold. 9, 7, or clubs. And now Vogel has to ask himself, well, you're never getting 3/8 to fold, but for 60% pot, can he get 10s and 8s to fold?
What gangster.
And Vogel decides that, he can maybe get 10s and 8s to fold here. And let's see if one of the greatest to ever do it can figure it out.
Cool.
Oh, he's putting it in. That's the put in.
Phil Ivey deep in the tank again.
There we go, Phil. I knew he was going to do it. Let's go, buddy.
Ivey is never afraid to make big hero calls against tough opponents. He's also never afraid to make big moves either. You won't believe the one he makes in this hand.
King, king, deuce. We have 2 players with trip kings. Antonius with trip kings. Ivey with trip kings.
Bet 3,000.
And Benjamin with the flush draw as well. We might see some action from him in this flop.
This is an action flop, to say the least. But Benjamin's not stupid. He knows a paired board. He's not going to play a flush draw that strong, is he?
No, but I knew he would at least see this turn card. Oh, wow. What a card for Benjamin's hand.
Look at this. Benjamin
Check.
has the flush on the turn.
Check.
Other than that,
Ivy and Antonius with trip kings. Ivy in terrible shape.
Bet 10,000.
The only thing that's suspicious about this is he's got 2 callers. There's only one other king left in the deck. So I don't know if I'm Patrick Antonius if I bet there or not.
Cool.
King deuce suited, king 4 suited. Those are the kind of hands somebody might be in there with.
Cool.
Well,
Call.
go to the river.
Yeah, this pot 44,000. Here's the river.
5.
5 of diamonds. That's going to be an action killer.
I was going to say that's going to crush the action because now there's 4 to a flush on the board.
Check.
Wow, I think
Bet 40,000.
Phil Ivy's plowing into this.
Think about the way the hand was played. If you're Benjamin, you go, okay, well, maybe one of my opponents has a king. Is there a chance the other one's got an ace diamonds?
And Patrick Antonius already folded.
An easy fold for Antonius. But if you're Benjamin,
It's a tough call.
yeah,
It really is.
it's a tough spot.
Absolutely. Especially the way Phil Ivy not doing a thing until the 4th diamond came. I mean, it feels like he has the ace of diamonds.
There's no bluff in this spot. I don't see how you can possibly be bluffing.
Don't think you're going to get a read on Phil Ivy. Wow. That's power poker.
That was a tough spot for Benjamin. What would you do if you were facing Ivy in this situation? Comment below. Just when you think you've seen Ivy at the top of his game, he takes it up a notch. And in these next 4 clips, he goes into full God mode at the table. On another Poker After Dark episode, Ivy makes a decision that will have you questioning everything you know about poker.
Phil Ivy suspects something, raises Barry, but it looks like Lex, who's got a decent hand, suspects that they're both out of line. And he's right. Nice play by Lex, 51-6.
How much more are you playing?
140 something? 130, 140 more?
Doesn't want Barry to know he raised him with air.
Come on.
I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Phil Ivy just went all in with a 5 deuce offsuit. I don't believe it.
I thought you were just angry at Barry.
I am.
That is one of the great bluffs
Nice one.
in the history of high-stakes poker.
In our 3rd spot, players were on the money bubble in a tournament with a $40,000 buy-in. Action picks up on Dvoris, who is about to put Ivy to a tough situation on the river.
Developing spots elsewhere in the room on an ace-high board. Christoph Vogelsang, pre-flop min-raise opener, takes a peek at it with Dvoris and Ivy. Callers as well. A round of checks on the flop. A round of checks on the turn, and now not one but 2 players have made trips, and unfortunately for Phil Ivy, he's outkicked by Dvoris.
Yeah, rough spot for Ivy, and it looks like he is considering a lead. Certainly looking to get value, is going to find out that those trips are no good. Ivy would be betting, let's say, you know, an ace-x type hand into 2 players.
Puts 10s into the bin. Ivy was actually drawing dead on the turn given that Vogel was involved with those 2 10s. No path to a victory, and the absolute worst card in the deck has come off for him.
400.
Now Dvoris heard from as he makes it 400,000.
Ivy doesn't like it, counting out what he would have behind if he calls here and is wrong.
Phil giving his all to every single spot, that in part why he holds 3 Triton titles and gets away from the 250k milking by Dvoris.
Up next is another hand from the Triton series, but this time Ivy faces off against the trash-talking legend Tony G. This hand is a testament to just how good Ivy's reading abilities are.
Great fold by Seth here.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. But what I think you're seeing is people in a vacuum. See if Seth peeled the King Jack of Diamonds here, he'd be in a lot of trouble. Now Tony just called the C-bet, and this is a very safe card for Ivy's range, so he's going to keep barreling away. Well, that's actually a very big bet from Ivy. So there is a chance Tony puts him in here.
Yeah, versus that size.
Yeah, because Chidwick's only got 835 back.
My intuition is Tony's going to raise. Just the way I've seen him play. Yeah. I just feel, that makes all the sense.
It's a good play. It's a good play. This is a really tough spot because there's just a chance that Tony G called the flop with King X of spades and it's just kind of like, whatever, man, I'm all in. Hopefully you fold. If you don't, I've got the best hand.
I mean, obviously, if Ivy, ends up folding King Jack, then that would be a great way to play King X of spades. But I don't know. I just having watched Tony play.
I mean, you ace 9 of spades, 9 8 of spades,
Yeah,
10 9 of spades.
Yeah, certainly.
All of those ace 8 of spades, all those call the flop for one. You know, gut shots, you hit a gut shot 25% of the time by the river. If you got a backdoor flush draw.
Yeah, I mean, I made the observation before. I mean, when Ivy's on, it is amazing how far he can go in he goes in tournaments consistently.
He's unbelievable.
So, and I mean, if he folds here, it'll be precisely because of folds like this.
Yep.
Right. You're starting to make...
What a fold.
That was one of the best reads ever made by Ivy, but number one is without a doubt the most mind-blowing of his entire career. You've probably seen this hand 100 times, but we couldn't make this video without including it on our list, so here it is.
On flop, pair of jacks and a 7. 3 hearts out there for him. 80,000 is the bet.
I've got queen high, but I'll take a stab at it. And look at this! Re-raise by Jackson.
Wow. To 170,000.
Paul Jackson is willing to get into a poker match here. Phil Ivey, though, if he really thinks deeply about this, might be asking himself, well, now wait a minute. If this guy had a jack in his hand, would he re-raise me here?
So he's thinking it, and the question is, will he overthink it?
A re-raise!
Well, there you are. Re-raises to 320,000. It's right back in the face of Paul Jackson.
Nobody connected with that flop, and here they are, raise, re-raise, re-raise.
Nice.
Oh my goodness, Jackson is re-raising. What the heck is going on here?
Re-raising.
Another 150,000, now it's up to 470.
Almost 1 million chips in this pot now.
How much you got left? 360.
I don't see how he can possibly continue in this hand. Everything Paul Jackson has done.
All in.
What?
That's why we're here and they're there.
Absolutely astonishing poker.
What was point drinking is
Ivy's reads turned him into a poker legend, and these moments highlight why most players consider him the greatest of all time.